get that going, and because I think Fuga is going to Mereoleona, or I think he's already there. So they could start wrapping this part up, and then and then all of them showed up for one last stand against the demon, right? And it'd be even more sick
Oh,
if he
you got
actually
the stream. You
manages.
got the stream on. You or me? Hold up. Hold up. And we live. What's good? What's good, everyone? What's good? And we are here to talk about some Black Clover today, some Ebony Clover greatness. And I'm here with Mr. Flame. How you doing?
Good man, goat Clover greatness. Throughout the goat.
Oh yeah, man, all day. So here we are talking about once again the greatness of Black Clover, and Mr. Flame over here wanted to discuss the current arc in particular in great details with me today, and I appreciate that. So let's just go ahead and get started. What are your thoughts of the current arc so far?
Greatness and greatness, and I think the momentum it had from the end of the Water Temple arc into the Witch's Forest, and then the Royal Knight Selection exam or tournament, I guess. The hype was building, and then it kind of just kept going off that. And the start of the arc was strong, and with the events of with Patri and Julius Novachrono, it left like it made this arc more impactful and deeper. And it's something that we've been building. Right now, everything we've been building up to, all the things that we've been wondering, all the things that were hinted at, are all being paid off in this arc. And so far, I've been thoroughly enjoying it.
In particular, like I was telling you before we started this, I don't feel like this arc is dragging on or anything, but I feel like in the terms of Avengers, we're in the end game of this arc.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think once they finish up the fights with the other characters in the base, Noel, Mereoleona, and Fug, then they start moving towards the demon, and then there's also a chance that the fight gets taken out of the base, right? And then that's where it ends off, where it's everyone against the demon, and then that's how they go. It's either he goes and he makes it out somehow, or they kill him, and that's where the arc kind of gets to the ending of it, because I think that everyone's seeing that who is the mastermind behind the demon. Like if they know he existed and the general public knows he exists, then it might clear the elves' names, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea because to be perfectly honest, I wasn't really thinking about the repercussions of this arc because first and foremost, Golden Dawn is probably going to be disbanded, or at least under new management, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's either he gets disbanded or takes the reins. I think that's the only way that makes sense.
Yeah, because you got to think, especially Patrick in particular, you got to think a lot of the Golden Dawn members he picked up, just about everyone, but Mimosa in particular, they all became reincarnated elves.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm actually quite like the one mystery I have for this arc is we've gotten familiar with all these elves, and some of the ones that were less significant, we even like felt something like specifically with like the ones with Luck, the one that the elf that was in Luck's body, like we felt something when he during that when he was brought back, and it kind of feels I'm kind of wondering what will happen with Patri and William. One goes or the other, and maybe Patri chooses to go and say, "Hey, William was like being stringed along by me." Try to say, "Hey, like this is on me," and then to get William vengeance back, he becomes, then he has to. There's a whole there's a whole thing with that where all the elves gonna go, because I know that Asta wants to work with the elves, but he can't work with the elves if they're all gone and they bring all the humans back, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea of it because in particular, you got to realize that I feel like Patrick might stay a bit in particular because he's kind of like one with William in a way. Because without Patrick, William never would have gotten over his loneliness in particular. But
Yeah,
another context clue in particular, and I forgot where I saw this. It probably was on the Black Clover Reddit. Was this the idea of how William has his scar,
yeah,
or yeah, it's the same kind of similarity as how when Yami had the blackness all over his believe is his left arm.
Oh, so that scarring could be that exact thing.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh shit, I'm gonna look into that. I actually, when you look at it, when you look at it that way, then yeah, the pattern. I think the pattern was a little different on, um, William's forehead and face.
Yeah, because in particular, when it was first explained, how William had that, that specifically said that nobody in the kingdom, not even the greatest healer magic users in the kingdom, could do anything about that. But I find it interesting that it could be related to the whole demon, um, black magic in particular.
Yeah. With the I think right now we're kind of expanding on the presence of of demons, right?
Yeah.
And um, I uh, a part of me kind of wants the demon to get away, and why is because now they need to reassess with all the facts in order because not everyone knows what they're fighting for yeah, specifically because some of them know the truth behind what happened with what I demonize and with the like why they were doing all this, and then also you have to not everyone knows about Julius, right? And so there needs to be like I think Mirileona is gonna have to take the reins as the next Magic Emperor because she's the only one. It's not about really strength; it's about like consolidating the troops, and I think she can do that until they choose between Yami, Fug, or Nozel. And with that, I kind of feel like they need a then that with that buffer period between the arcs, Tabata could probably try and flesh out or explain or like get the like expand the plot a bit with regards to Yuno's parentage, Asta's parentage, and the the demon that lies within Asta's black five leaf clover grimoire, and maybe if Lick before he could actually explain to him what that that's my former grimoire. This is what it's about. This is how it happens, and then people figure out Asta had a five leaf grimoire that explains the anti magic, etc, and then actually allows people to actually understand their powers, and then also understand the situation with the elves, resolve that conflict, and then once all the good guys are kind of united, then they can go back and try to tackle the demon once more.
Going off the subject that, if the demon gets defeated, which personally I would also agree with you in the sense that if the demon even no, let me say this. If the demon does get defeated, I like the idea better of he left like the seed of like another demon of some sort in, let's say, another kingdom, and let's say that that said demon took over that kingdom, sort of how like a demon overlord of one of the other two kingdoms, because we don't know much about the other two kingdoms. And Tabata even said himself that he wants Black Clover to be as long as Naruto and even possibly One Piece. And so going off that subject in particular, how else would you include another arc of some sort, which I think there's possibilities for, and even introduce the other lores and factions and even other races and the other two spirits in Black Clover by introducing a whole other, let's say, a world war kind of conflict in particular.
I would think that would be that'd be a massive arc that would test Tabaza's abilities, storytelling abilities. I think his strengths have always been the slight slow build of development along the way and hinting at stuff, and then everything's paid off in this arc. But with that kind of arc, it's there's a lot going on. You have a lot to explain, and so I think if it comes to down to a potential war or a battle or like things with the next arc, it'll take time to set things in place, right? So with the Diamond Kingdom, a lot of things were set up in place with Mars and Fauna, and then later on with Fanzel and crew. So I think I would be super excited when and if he gets to the other two kingdoms. I think it's the was it Club Kingdom and
Heart and
Blue
Spade.
Kingdom, Heart and Spade. There we go. Can't remember what it's called. Yeah, Heart and Spade Kingdoms. Then it'll be kind of it- he'll have to do a few arcs to set things in place. Because then, I wouldn't be surprised if if there's more than one demon and maybe the next big thing to tackle isn't like the elves, but the elf clan, but maybe the demon clan, right?
Oh, of course. And then even going off that, like such an arc, like I was explaining, would have to be a gradual time skip of some sort. Like because I'm definitely a firm believer that after this arc, once we may not know who the next Magic Emperor candidate would be, not until a time skip in particular. And then I can't really guess a number, but I think it would have to be no more than four at least like, maybe 3 to 4 years or some sort of time skip, kind of develop Asta along the way. And I'm sure Asta would probably be like vice captain of the Black Bulls, and then would be the whole if Golden Dawn isn't disbanded in particular, I feel like Golden Dawn's new magic leader would be in particular, and then I wouldn't know about the vice captain situation, especially with Fenrir's brother, but that's a whole other debacle.
Um, I'm I wouldn't be surprised if there was a time skip. However, I wouldn't be so sure if it'd be a long time skip because I would think they'd want like with the merits that these two have already had, they're gonna get major promotions anyways, Asta and and in terms of just like Magic Knight ranks, and uh, I do think there needs to be time of maybe like 10 chapters, maybe 15, where they go through all the events, explaining what happened with Julius Novachrono, clearing the name of the Valde family, with regards to Longris's activities, explaining what happened with the Golden Dawn and all that stuff, potentially taking accountability for that, trying to clear William's name, so Will or explaining or trying to stitch out actually not even like clearing his name, but actually explaining the situation, and so they figure out whether or not we're gonna get William back, or both of them are gonna rot in some kind of cell, or they're both gonna walk free, and they try to work things out, and then Asta, you know, you know, he talk to talk, but now he's gonna walk to walk, and then he's gonna walk, alongside the elf race and actually trying to like integrate them into the Clover Kingdom himself, and then show leadership in that sense. And Us is a beloved figure by many of the prominent people in the Magic Knights, so he could actually have an effect there. Also, he's charismatic, so that also helps him. Um, so I think time skip is possible. I don't think it's going to be that long, and I also think it's gonna be a little after they go through the ramifications of what happened during this arc are past, and um, they move on to the next order of business, right? But there's still a lot of things to clean up after this whole arc with the demon and all that stuff.
Okay, so let me go ahead and ask you this. So, going off the subject of, let's say we're going to divide this arc in half. So, the first half of the arc up until before the demon reveal, or a little bit even before the hand, let me ask you, what do you think of your thoughts overall?
For this entire arc.
Just like the first half of it, like before the whole demon.
Oh, I thought it was straight heat. Um, I thought we already had a top five fight with Mirileona versus Rhea, and the other four elves that showed up later on, and then Asta and Zora, two characters like their interactions, like those Zora and Mirileona, two characters that were introduced around the same time and were instantly beloved characters by the fans, and also like they, something just clicked for them all across the community, and when they were paired with Asta, that was like beautiful. So in that moment, it was amazing, and when we're getting such a cool moment like that, but only a bit later or a bit down the way, like earlier, was Julius Novachrono's death. So it actually kind of it the whole series took a bit more of a serious turn, and it actually kind of not even maybe the whole series, but the whole arc. I mean, and it made the whole arc a lot more serious, and it changed the tone um, for this arc, and it clearly set um, set the standards that the stakes are high in this one, and when you and with the rebirth of all the other elves into the humans, it kind of set the stage for this is the arc. This is the payoff of what they were building up to with all the arcs and the magic stones and all this stuff. So I thought the first half of the arc was amazing. Like it was, I thought it was clean. I thought it was like I wouldn't have had it any other way. That was amazing.
All right, if I may ask, what do you think about the fights overall? Because you got to realize that a lot of these fights between the reincarnated elves and just the regular magic knights, it's a lot of squad members going against each other, and a lot of friends versus friends.
I would say that the it kind of set a bit of a um it set up kind of a thing where, especially with the Black Bulls, that like how they're kind of a tight knit group. So for when they saw Luck, not as himself but as an elf, that was a touching moment. And then so that also provide opportunity to strengthen the bonds of the Black Bulls, leading into their raid and an assault on the capital to try and bring back order, right? With Henry and the whole base. That's one example of how friends versus friends. Like it was something that they they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe what was going on. But with Asta there, I think they actually understood. Okay, something's wrong here, and this is what's going on. And so initially, a lot of people were all out of the friends like, "Why is my friend attacking me? What's going on?" But later on, when a lot of the royal knights that were there when the rebirth happened, they actually understand some of the situations going on. So later on, fast forward into the capital when this is happening, um, I think a lot of people were in the dark, but only a few people had the intuition to understand like that's not them. Like because they can already tell they're acting like a whole different person, right?
Alrighty then. So I'm looking right now in the Black Clover chat just to get some ideas for what to talk about in particular. So, what are your thoughts in particular about the whole anime debacle of Black Clover in particular?
The anime debacle isn't. I think Yoko Productions made a good video on it. Essentially, it's kind of like the director. He feels like didn't have enough resources going into it, and he kind of looked at the whole Boruto that special episode where they kind of like they had like they had like the movie plot done in the anime, and the amount of staff and talent they had to provide a good product, and he has to essentially rely on his own connections in the industry to keep Black Clover alive, or actually like going, and they always have to finish things like the thing is they never get a chance to make something really good all the time. They always have to go for decent because they don't have any more time to go for something more than that. And I think a lot of people don't understand that I think they had was it Twin Star Exorcist? They were doing that series, I think, and that staff moved on to Black Clover, and they didn't have much time to set things up. So at the start, it looked really good. It was pretty crisp, and then later on down the line, you could see some of the changes in quality. And I don't think they were missing some key staff for the during the fights with Yami and Licht and the three captives coming up. That arc. They had like they're basically they were I think basically essentially is that that at the start it was kind of okay to be a weekly series, but right now it makes no sense. If they went season by season, it'd be a much more enjoyable product in the end. And I think that Shueisha trying to make it more like Naruto and not going to and they were already ongoing in a previous relationship with Studio Period. They thought that that would have been a good fit, and I think it's not a good fit anymore. And at the moment, it's not really on Studio Period specifically. It's actually more on Shueisha for trying to keep it there at Studio Period. And I think the staff is suffering, the quality of the series is suffering, and I think the staff they love the series, but they don't have the resources. They're overworked. Some of them, I think, the one that made the opening six was working on episodes and opening six. She made a great opening because usually they never produce a good opening all the time. They always have to they like visually at least they have to come back and make edits over the weeks, and then you start to see what they're really going for when they initially release the opening. So it's kind of like and I don't think I've ever seen that as often as they always have to make big changes to an opening after they premiere it. It's kind of like they're running blind, and Um, I don't think they're getting the love they could they need, and a series like Black Clover and Shonen Jump, the biggest magazine I think in Japan, uh, they or at least the most popular worldwide at least. It they could go to a different series, not series, another studio, and actually get the love the series deserves with a seasonal anime, and in-house staff with enough time to prepare and set things up like they did with the Promised Neverland. But I think with Studio Period, it's not a good fit anymore, and I think the staff is suffering while Shueisha is making profit, and clearly Studio Period doesn't have enough to give them what they need. So it's just kind of like overall, it's just like a not a good fit. The anime is enjoyable. It's just that I wish that it could have been more, and it could be more. It's just Shueisha needs to walk away.
Going off what you were saying in particular, I agree 100% because my thing is this: Studio Perry fundamentally speaking, is going off the hand with Boruto, trying to, make Boruto a moneymaker and whatnot, giving Boruto everything it needs just because it's a Naruto successor, even though Boruto doesn't even have half of what makes Black Clover good. And it sucks that Black Clover has to suffer under such circumstances, which, is unfortunate and whatnot. But it's the fact that at least, with certain series in particular, at least you get in a pretty well-handed, adaptation, and you're not going off the reins of like Kingdom because we don't talk about that.
Oh yeah, I've heard about the disastrous anime version of Kingdom and Studio Period. They do a lot of outsourcing, and honestly, like it's kind of my only issue is like I always kind of cringe when I watch Black Clover anime because people saying, "Oh yeah, why are you giving up on the anime?" etc. etc. And it's just kind of like they can't even get still frames or like frames where they're just kind of standing there doing nothing, and or for like 3 4 seconds, and but their face looks hella awkward, so they can't even keep the whole like even the most they don't have time to like really make sure the face looks normal, and like we're back to the normal base models that we usually are compare we usually used to, and like some of the things that you see are just look hella awkward, and it's just kind of like these are things that they could fix if they had time to really have someone to go over their work, and they had it's just something's off with it, and I there's a lot of articles about it, and once again I can only recommend Yonko Production for actually like making a whole video on bringing like with multiple sources. I've read some of the articles he cited, and and actually having extra insight on some of the things as well. He just kind of the way he explained it, I don't think anyone could have done better. It's just it kind of looks like um I'm not too happy with Studio Perry still make adapting the series going into this next arc, because this arc is a classic in the making, if not already, and I think it deserves more love than Studio Perry is willing to give.
All right, if I'm not going to put you on the spot or anything, let me ask: do you have a favorite chapter of this current Elf arc in particular?
Favorite chapter?
Yeah, you don't have to tell me the number in particular, but if you recall what happened in said chapter, that would be fine with me.
That's a tough one. Um, because my favorite chapter is in the Knights selection with Asta versus Langris. That was my favorite chapter altogether. But in this arc, it would have to be most likely Muraliona when she was standing against the other five, all bloodied up, and then Asta and Zora had to concoct a plan to, uh, to repel their quintet their 5 element magic combo attack, and then and send it back to them to try and make an escape. That was a pretty cool plan, and I thought it was pretty cool. And then I think with Zora, like the way like Tabata makes amazing art. Like his art has just been always been crisp. And like whenever Zora uses his ability, with them, like it always looks cool. And so that was an instant plus for me, and I thought that was a pretty enjoyable chapter to read in the arc.
My personal favorite chapter, it's around the 50s somewhere. I'm sure it's like 54, 55. It's the chapter where you see a reincarnated Lich and then and Asta they pop in the same scene and then it's the whole little kind of low diffing moment where Lich just comes in, didn't even care to be perfectly honest, but knew what the whole plan was the whole time, and he slid Asta the other sword while taking the other one in particular that he needed personally.
Oh, that was a good one. That was 156.
56, okay.
Yeah, original form, original power. That's actually another good arc. I know it's kind of like it's really hard with this arc because there's a lot of really good chapters and uh like I don't even know, man. Like 140 until like 160 was such heat. It just I don't even know. Like and then Noel glowing up on these niggas, bro. It's just like just like it's been a very good arc, and this is it's kind of hard to choose between just one chapter when there's so many chapters with so many good moments.
All right, so let me go to your one of your favorite quotes you love to say in the Discord, and it's not wrong that just about every chapter of Black Clover has been heat and has been better than One Piece.
I would say it has been, yeah, I would say I think it's pretty much this is just my own personal opinion. I can't really speak to much people, but I do believe that Black Clover has been the best manga consistently for the last 2 years in Shonen Jump, and I don't think it's even close. And I think with my hero, it had a few high highs, like, but then also the lows are not that low, so it keeps up. Promise Neverland had some good moments with um um William Minerva being showed. I don't want to say too much on that because it's a Black Clover stream. And then the One Piece had the highest high with the Reverie, but then has the lowest lows in the entire Shonen Jump. Personally, from what I read, and I don't think that One Piece, as a weekly series, is an enjoyable read anymore. I think it's more of a you read it to get the payoff once in a while, and the payoffs are somewhat worth it. But overall, the week to weeks aren't always that great. And Black Clover, it's always everything is moving. The art is always great. It's always been the characters. The characters just make it, and when you see the characters interacting, and then trying to overcome and growing over the current conflicts they're in, and it's been like a constant hype train like 2 years plus, and I think no other series, not even One Piece, can match up to the weekly performance Yuki Tabata has been putting up with his series Black Clover. I don't think it's close at all.
I full heartedly condone that. It gets the seal of approval from me personally. But going off that, so what was I gonna ask? What are your thoughts in particular of the current status of the Clover Kingdom, if you will?
Um, with like what's going on in the current arc right now.
Yeah, I mean that. I apologize.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, no, I was just trying to clarify. I think one way or another, Clover Kingdom is in a really bad spot, and I think their king is kind of full of it, and I think Mir Leona is also another is a kind of a like William is like a Julius where that could probably rein in the king and try to make him unite the kingdom, and then she can take the reins because he can consolidate the troops in the royal knights, explain to them how the most beloved and the best performing um uh Guild or whatever, Golden Dawn, is it fell from grace, and basically all these magic knights started attacking the kingdom. Like the Clover Kingdom is in kind of disarray, and I think what happens after this arc is they have to reassess leaderships. So they have to basically set a new magic emperor and figure out what's going on internally, then try to reunite the kingdom after explaining to them what just happened. I do believe the Clover Kingdom do deserve the truth, and then and once that happens, it's also about trying to get them to accept the elves if they do exist at this point after this arc, and trying to keep trying to get um everyone on the same page and trying to restore peace and order as and so when the next conflict comes again, it's kind of like a reset It's everything's reset, and then the next conflict shows up, and they're ready to deal with that. So I think right now it's kind of like Clover Kingdom is a mess, but then after this arc, it'll be cleaning up the mess, and then the next conflict will be introduced.
If I may ask you, do you have like a favorite girl or favorite waifu in Black Clover?
Mimza,
And I,
Mimza, easy, easy, best girl.
if I may ask why? I don't
Why?
think there's much. I don't think there's much that. That's why I was asking you.
Oh yeah, no. I think because I think in the Royal Knights selection exam, she actually showed some growth, and I think she's like I think before this arc, like in the first half of this arc, she was actually like like I think her and Asta's interactions are pretty cool, and I think that she has significant value, and I think for the most part, she was probably the most. I think she's not the best developed. I think that goes to Vanessa easily, but she's my personal favorite, and I thought she was probably the best female character in the series until Noelle kind of just glowed up on everyone in this arc, like because her growth was just insane. Like
Yeah.
by controlling her magic like that.
Okay. So going off Noelle in particular, I was talking with someone the other day. I think it was on Discord. It was in the Black Clover chat. But I was telling someone, and I stand by this firmly that Noelle is probably one of the most developed female shonen characters of all time because going off, like Olahime from Bleach, going off Sakura from Naruto, and even Ochako from My Hero Academia, I feel as if that Noelle in particular has gone through hoops, strives, and hurdles to overcome what she came from in particular. Because when she first started out as a character, I'm not going to say she was a meek little girl. No, she knows. She always rubbed it in that she was a royal. And then in particular, you got to realize that, she couldn't control her magic. And then nobody in her family, just because she was royal, they basically called her defective, even though they never even tried to give her the help that she needed. So, and because of that, Yami is an individual who I would say is my favorite character, comes through and sees the potential in all these people and accumulates them into his group, the Black Bulls, Magic Knights. And so that's why I feel as if that Asta, once he becomes a Magic Knight captain, whether it's of the Black Bulls or for his own group in particular, he'll have the same qualities and quotas as Yami.
Yep, and with what you said to Noelle, Noelle is just it's kind of like I feel like with Sakura and Chaco, they kind of like they're just trying to keep up with a character or two or someone they like and something like that. But with Noelle, she's trying to prove to herself and her family that even though she has more magic than I think all the other siblings, and it's just that she doesn't have the control. And I think you know I think it would be hard to control such high levels of magic or mana that you can control, like or that you can take. But I think she has to. She has shown that she started from like ground zero, and I think what made her makes her the best shonen female character currently in Shonen Jump is that she's been constantly growing alongside the main character, not behind the main character alongside, and I think it's been a very enjoyable thing to read and see that Noelle is just not some she's not some just like random girl in distress, damsel in distress. She's actually she has something to prove, and she's going out there and proving it. And Yuki Tabata has handled her story arc pretty well, and I think instead of having a cliche of oh yeah oh there's a guy I like I need to keep up with him, like even though she's a tsundere kind of, and she does I think she does have unrecognized feelings for Asta. She uh she isn't trying to grow for Asta. She's trying to grow for herself and for the people that say, "Oh yeah, you look just like your mom, but you could be better than your mom if only you control your magic." But I know you can do it. And all the people that believed in her, she wants to show that people that believed in her that she can actually realize her potential. And that, so I think her drive is better than most characters as well, most female characters at least.
All right. If I may ask you, for people that are looking to get into Black Clover, how should they get into Black Clover and where should they be able to find manga for Black Clover?
Um, uh, for uh, for Black Clover, you could probably find a few places to read it. If you want, if you don't want to spend money, Giant Minis Box is a pretty great place. I think they have all the chapters there. That's where I binged Black Clover from. If you wanna, support the manga mangaka and the series, you can go and order volumes from places. I've already have five volumes already. I ordered like four in the last like 2 weeks, and I'm trying to get all 15 to 16 coming out on July 2nd, which is gonna be a heat one. You can also go to, I think there's like a website and an app that's the official Viz chapters that come out. And if you and I think you can read them for free for the latest ones. But if you want all of them, I think you need to subscribe. But it's also another way to, if you want to support Shonen Jump and Makaka. Yeah, so those are ways you can do it.
All right, for me, I recommend people checking out Books a Million. You can get their membership for $25, and once again, going off that $25, you get 10% off everything in store and their cafes. You can also get free shipping online in particular, and they always have like some sort of like deal. So like me personally, I'm working on getting all the My Hero volumes. I'm currently looking behind me. I have like at least eight. I have like from 17. I have like 17, 18, 19. And then I ordered like six of them coming in. I have like two Black Clover volumes. One of them should be coming in on the 2nd of July in particular. And going off that, with Books a Million, not you just don't get just a free membership. You also you if you actively have it to auto renew you, you get a $10 gift card that you can use online or in store. And then that's just about it. That's where I get my values for, not just for My Hero Academia, but also for Black Clover, One Piece, just about any series you're looking for in particular. It's just at end of the day, it's fine reading off the illegal scanlations like Gemini's box, and then Manga Stream, and even Kiss Manga if you want to go that route. But it's always nice to at least once in a while put forth your hard-earned money to support the mangaka in particular.
Facts. And so I've been trying to like collect some of these volumes. I've gotten volumes 11 to 15, and because those are like my favorite. That's like where Black Clover just got really good, and where I got really, interested in the series, like in turn, like intrigued in like the plot and like like the growth of most people. I was just in it for the characters at the start, but then I started to really like what was going on, and um, I actually kind of did fall in love with the series, and I actually so I'm trying to get all the volumes, and once I get all the current release volumes, continue to buy the latest ones coming out, and if you are interested in getting volumes for certain mangas that you read, I think Black Clover is probably worth every cent. Because it not only is the series good, I think that the visual experience when you pick up the volume and you see it right in front of you on paper, it is very enjoyable and it's a great to see. And so I would highly recommend going out and getting some volumes for yourself. There's always like we've as Russ already mentioned, there's one way to get it at Books a Million. If you are Amazon Prime person, and I'm in Canada, so I think Books a Million is something a little different for me. Amazon's probably the best place for me to get it, or even you can go check out. I think even in the summer, there's quite a bit of anime thons and things going on. Even in your own city, you could probably go and um, get a few volumes for slightly cheaper than even Amazon Prime could get you. So those are definitely ways that you can go and read and support the series.
Yep, support all of them. Amazon is definitely another good choice in particular to support Black Clover, Ebony Clover, Goat Clover, however you want to call it,
Greatness.
and greatness exactly. And there's my nigga Darius. I was like wondering. I know it's kind of late for you, but what are your thoughts of Black Clover? If you can tell me in the chat, in particular, if this the current for you don't have to tell me in the chat. You can just tell me in the Black Clover chat
Interstate.
on the Discord. Let me go ahead. I'll say it now. I say it again. Freedom State is my home. That's where I'll be everywhere in Discord in particular. But if you want to support your boy, I got my Discord right in the description. Go over there. Let's make that shit active. Let's get some pop in discussions. I want to in particular I want to do a Attack on Titan discussion with Satsuki pretty soon, and then my birthday is in fact this week. It's Saturday, so I'm trying to pop in for a stream. That probably be the longest one I do. Just an active chill stream. Just casually talk about stuff, goof off, niggardry, if you will. I wanted to ask Mr. Flame before I decide to end this out. Gotta remember what the hell it was. Give me a second. I wrote it down somewhere. I was gonna ask you, what are your thoughts of people always trying to make comparisons to Black Clover with, like Fairy Tail, Bleach, Naruto, always trying to demean Black Clover in particular, and always try to say that, oh well, it's like Naruto and Bleach combined with like a hint of Fairy Tail or something.
I think they kind of. I think people will say what they want. If they don't like the series, that's on them. But if people listen to what other people say, you're only hurting yourself. And I even when going into Black Clover, I heard, oh yeah, the guy just screams so much. It's trash. It's whatever. And I stuck with the series, and I'm like, these characters are dope, and I stuck with it. And I'm like, these characters are growing. And then when I got to, I think it was chapter I don't think I can remember. It's like maybe it's chapter 96, 97, where he it's called I think the chapter was called Transform. 96 and then going into something's 97, transformation and nothing special where and that's the content from volume 11. Those That was really good. And that's where I got really hooked into Black Clover. And I think people that want to give the series a try, I think it's worth giving it a try and seeing what you think rather than what other people think. And I think if people that are saying it's close to Naruto or Fairy Tail or something, I think there's swords. That's what they think. Oh, Bleach, and then they see a character that won't give up as easily and very determined in what they want to do. Um, and then they have a character. They have their best friend, but in this case, his brother as well. That's gunning for the same thing. They think, oh, it's Naruto, and then they see magic and they think Fairy Tail. And I think that it's very service level comparisons, and what makes the series is the pacing, the art, the great characters, and the interaction, and the constant growth. And I think that if you let the noise of a few ruin your experience, it's kind of on you. But I think Black Clover is deserving of at least a shot, and I think most people will be at least somewhat I'm surprised by the quality that Yuki Tabata puts out in his series.
Me personally, I've always been the type of person that I try not to because it's in human nature, but I try not to make comparisons to multiple different things because I think it's not right. I think you should always give something a chance, no matter how minute it is. And I also feel as if the people always try to say, "Oh, this has this cliche and this cliche." And I mean, there's nothing wrong with cliche in particular. It's just how it's done. And I feel as if that with Black Clover, going off the whole similarities, that people just try to compare it to something, dismiss it without even giving it a chance. And in every series, I mean, even with One Piece, you always have the power of friendship and whatnot, and there's nothing completely wrong with it. I mean, it's just that at the end of the day, it's how you take the series, any series or anything that you apply it to, and you try to just take nitpick this and that, but you won't do it with anything else. That's why me personally, I hate comparisons, because when you compare something, you're just trying to make something else to be better than the other thing you're comparing it to at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think these comparisons, sometimes they're just kind of disingenuous. And with Black Clover, there are things you can see, and some similar things that you can see in shonen. I think it's kind of, I think it's like a classic shonen in a place where a lot of series are, they're redefining what shonen means. Like My Hero has a few different elements that are more um, tailored to a more Western society, and that's what got it popping. But there's also the Promised Neverland. That's it. The only thing that makes it somewhat shonen is the fact that it's just shonen Jump, and also the fact that some of these characters have these emotional moments as well. And I think that Black Clover is kind of like a palate cleanser in the sense that it's just kind of like it, it's everything that you loved and more about some of your favorite series in the past, and but it's not this it's not a blatant copy or something like that. It's something completely different where it's just like the character, like everyone wants an inspiring main character, but the way that the story is done, Yuki Tabata just he just knocks it out of the park. And I think that these comparisons, I think that the noise is dying down, and I think a lot of people are starting to get into Black Clover and really enjoy it and see what they have. And I think I've even seen like even the game community. There's some guys. I think there's a guy called Soaz on a league team. He was basically he's always talking about Black Clover. He has like a Black Clover AVI or on his desktop and streams and stuff like that. Just like and so like from North America to Europe and even in Japan, people are enjoying Black Clover and there is a fan base. And I think the fan base will only grow over time. And soon enough, the noise stands, but when people read the series, they can judge for themselves whether or not they feel if the criticisms that people are saying are valid or not.
Exactly, and that's all it's about at the end of the day. This nigga AMG says, "Fuck, I am late as fuck." That's all right. It was just Mr. Flame wanted to come through because I know he's busy and whatnot, and I had all this week off because my move because I took 2 weeks off that because I ain't going back to work right now. So AMG, I didn't even really know you read Black Clover. Any thoughts in particular you want to tell me about, or you just gonna just talk about Promise Neverland? Because I like I was telling Mr. Flame, I have not read like the last like 15 chapters, so
I'm
I need to
behind like
catch up on them.
I'm behind like 2 chapters on the Promised Neverland. I think we can probably do like uh another Black Clover discussion, see what other people think, but in the future, and if and maybe if we can get more people. Um,
Oh yeah. I definitely. Now I said I didn't want to do too many, but I don't mind like especially when Chapter Night comes out. I don't mind doing this as long as it's convenient for me and everyone else. I don't mind coming on talking about One Piece and Black Clover than My Hero like in the morning or something because My Hero always comes out last.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's something that I've been trying to do this stream and get this kind of set up and talk to someone about stuff. It's just kind of like it's really hard for me to get like a consistent schedule going because like Friday, Saturday, Sundays is like work and like my sleep schedule is like during that time is just all fucked up. And then on Mondays I just try to reset it, and then like then like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's kind of really hard to find enough people, and then it's kind of a tricky thing where late night or anywhere between 7 to 10 o'clock people are online, and that's 7 to 10 on my time, mountain time. It's just kind of like it's hard to try to find enough people around that time. So it's really hard to find someone somewhat late or somewhat early. So it's just like getting people to discuss things. It's like getting times to line up is really difficult.
Okay, yeah. Same goes for me in particular. See, be perfectly honest, if it wasn't for me jumping in Stony's stream, I wouldn't even had done this stream till now. To be perfectly honest, after coming back.
Oh, Sterling did a stream today, or like, are you talking about the one from the other day?
Last week.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
I just feel like, in particular with Tabata being, on break, I really wasn't trying to read no more than My Hero. That's the only reason I probably stayed up that late, to be perfectly honest, because otherwise I would just read One Piece, gone to bed, and just waited for My Hero in the morning. But, shout out to Stony for the stream. It was convenient. It was really good for me to jump in and make sure my internet over here, my new house is well.
how you been settling into this new house, man?
In particular, my room is big. I have enough room for everything and whatnot. It was a lot. I mean, self moving it could be a pain in the ass sometimes, but end of the day, you gotta man up and get the job done. And stuff is here. Took like 2 weeks off once again, and then I start back work on Fourth of July weekend, so it's gonna be real hectic. But of course, you got to do what you can do.
Yeah, and when is July 1st, anyways?
The first, that's probably like
It's Monday.
this Monday. There
Oh,
you go.
thank God. I think it's Canada Day, so it's gonna be pretty wild on that day as well. So, but I'm gonna try and see what people are saying. I want to actually try and do things. I got like most of the weekdays off now, so it's just like I can uh go and do stuff with some of the homies during the summer. It's gonna be pretty nice.
Yeah, what's good, Perry? What's good? What's good? Let's see. I'm gonna read the comments. AMG's like, I don't hate Black Clover, but I also don't think it's that great. We'll talk about that some other time. Darius says he's off Tuesday. Hmm. Let's see. Might ask Toski, might pull for that Attack on Titan stream eventually.
Yo,
Um,
my boy
AM,
Darius,
AMG's like, go ahead, go ahead.
my boy Darius, like he's like read Unordinary, read Black Clover, read Greatness, read My Hero, AMG tweak, and he said, "I don't really care for the characters in Black Clover and this current Elf arc. It just I felt like dope fights, which can get boring to me. I prefer something with more substance, and the whole thing with Noelle and her family kind of pissed me off. And I think when people use the word substance like that, I think it's kind of I think it's a word that's used quite often, but it's kind of subjective as well. What so like when you say something with more substance, what do you consider substance? Right? Well, it's all subjective as well. So when people say substance, it kind of makes it sound like what the series brings isn't worth not worth reading or not as good as people think it is. I think it has substance. It's just whether or not you think you think that's good or not. It's all subjective because I think it does have substance, but I think you don't think it has that much substance, right? So it's all subjective. So like explaining what you would have preferred would have been. I talked to a lot of people. They think and then they have a lot of unique criticisms of how they read Black Clover. I even have my own criticisms about Black Clover. I have the one criticism about Black Clover, and that's the whole development of Leo. I don't Leopold. I do not like it. I think he should have been out there fighting more, and he had a run. He had the most dope panel in the entire series. And then we got like catfished, and then he falls to his knees for Figolion to wake up. And I'm like, he said he had a dope line like, "Oh, I think I'm on the, I think I'm about to, like it kind of looked like he was gonna like get in a new spell and break through his break through and reach a new limit of his potential, and it kind of we just kind of got like we got
We
kind of
got
memed on.
clucked. That's what happened.
Yeah, we got cucked seriously. It kind of sucked, and I'm like, I really wanted Leo to be out there because a lot of his peers like Mimosa, Noel, Yuno, Asta, I don't know, maybe you can throw like Finroll in there and Luck, they're growing and he's kind of feels like kind of and he is we don't see his growth even though he's in the same arcs as some of our characters. It's kind of unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I agree with Darius. I respect the opinion. I try not to, and I know I kind of slandered myself, typing on Discord because typing on Discord is one thing than like talking like I am now. But I admit that each and every one of y'all opinion, like even I always go back to this. I always go to my nigga Wally. Every time this nigga talks about fairy tale, I may shit on his comment, but I respect that he stays true to it. And maybe one day, just like I want to do why Boruto is shit stream. I may do why fairy tale is shit also, but that's for a whole different topic.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when I've heard Wally talking about Fairy Tale, and I think Fairy Tale, I think there are a lot of good moments in it. It's just there are some things that happened early on that turned me off to the series. I still kept up with it and I still finished the series, but there are things about there's a lot to criticize and say about, but you also have to so it's kind of like you gotta understand what the mangaka was going for, and it kind of felt like some things didn't match up, like the some of those like the looter more nude scenes, but then such a friendly GRPG kind of story plot. It just kind of like something felt off, like something just felt off, and some of the moments could have been done better. I think, but
Fair,
that's a conversation for another day, I guess.
I'll just say this: Fairy Tale is a hentai, and it should have just been a hentai, not a manga.
Yeah,
That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I felt like there were some mature things going on with the gags and stuff, but they always said, "Oh, it's all about friendship," right? Well, yeah, it's all about friendship, but you're also like, but then you'll later have like a whole thing going down at Lucy's house where half of them are naked, just kind of like what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna agree with Darius. Fairy Tale has so many assholes. That's like the first criticism with Fairy Tale. But I don't want to talk. I don't want to make this into a Fairy Tale stream talking about Black Clover. So what was I gonna
Greatness,
go?
Black Clover greatness. You could watch the goat, Ebony Clover.
Oh, so while we're still on stream, I wanted to ask, how do you feel about doing a Mario Kart tournament at some point?
Yo, I have Mario Kart open with me right now. I already have my Switch on. I've been playing Mario Kart all week. I'm down to play with anyone.
Yeah.
like we already have the whole like rule set up on Discord, so we might as well get that popping.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to bring that up. I'm getting ready to end the stream, but was there anything else that you wanted to bring up in particular?
Um, Mima was his best girl. You could about this the goat. I think I think he writes a good series. I think Black Clover is the best series in Shonen Jump for the last 2 years, undoubtedly. And this isn't a debate. And yeah, Ebony Clover greatness.
I'm just gonna say shout out to Chevy. I know he wanted to be here, but it's like 5 hours his time. But I'll definitely make it up. I'll definitely probably when the newest chapter comes on, I'll probably just hop on, pull up a stream, and then just talk about the chapter, do a late night chapter discussion. I also want to say shout out to Stony. He wanted to be here but couldn't come through. Like I said, like I told him in the Black Ebony Clover chat, his spirit's here with us in stream. Once again, shout out to everyone in Freedom State, and
Shout out to Sixth Path. His phone broke, so he couldn't join us here. But shout out to him. I know he likes Black Clover as well, and I think he wanted to be here, but you know, circumstances are what they are. So shout out to Sixth Path, and shout out to my boy Darius too, man, in the chat.
shout out to M5 niggas. Once again, Perry's up in here. I see scroll up. Yeah, just Perry. To be perfectly honest, shout out to my nigga Perry, always coming through. Shout out to Morgan. That nigga took over fucking Freedom State. I'm done, and I'm gonna go end the stream here. And y'all have a good one. Once again, Discord link in the description. Pull through for my Discord, the Palace, and we out.
So, yeah.
Ebony Clover greatness.